our guest is Rivkah Asoulin. She is best known for her work as a woman's health and fertility expert, Wise Woman Fertility. She is currently founder and executive director of Ancient Roots, the first all English international herbal conference in Israel, which is going to be happening this February 9th to the 11th. So if you are an herbalist, someone who is into this stuff, and you want to go to a conference that's going to be here in the Holy Land of Israel, this is going to be the first of its kind. It's going to be in English, and you can join them. Ancient Roots Israel will be an annual event to inform and inspire a growing community of international herbalists and herb enthusiasts in Israel. And if you want to learn more, you can visit them at their website at ancientrootsisrael.com. So this conference, again, is going to be the first one ever of its kind here in Israel, all in English, and it's happening this Tu B'Shvat, coming up this in another few months from now. So welcome to the show, Rivkah Asoulin.
Thank you, Tamar. I'm so excited to be with you this beautiful morning. And by beautiful, it's raining outside my window, raining in the Holy Land. So exciting.
Wonderful. I've got my hot cup of herbal tea right next to me right now.
I do too.
Okay, so the first thing is, it's getting to be winter now, very close to it, and I'm already starting to get that scratchy throat. I have it even right now. I've got to have some tea. That's what I've got with tea today. And I don't want to get sick. I don't want to have the runny noses. I don't want to have the coughing, especially because I'm coming on the air. I can't cough every few seconds. And none of us want to be sick. None of us want to take days off from work for being sick. So what do you suggest as an herbalist to keep us healthy?
Well, oh my goodness, the changing of the seasons is a time absolutely ripe and rife with germs and bacteria and viruses and illness. So this is the perfect season to be discussing this. Now, thankfully, this is pumpkin pie spice season in America, isn't it?
Thanksgiving's coming up, so...
Yeah, it's pumpkin pie spice. We put pumpkin pie spice in so many things, right? Starbucks has it. All these different places have it. Do you know what some of these different herbs are in pumpkin pie spice?
I would say cinnamon, and
yes.
I would say what's that other? Not cloves. What is it?
Cloves, absolutely cloves.
Cloves, okay.
So cinnamon and cloves are both blood sugar regulators, and cloves can work beautifully on the lungs. It's an analgesic. It works on the liver. Cinnamon has also been used in weight loss. Ginger is one of those pumpkin pie spice herbs. I'm trying to remember them in my head right now. Ginger is great for those gastrointestinal disturbances, gas and an upset tummy and all of that. All of these pumpkin pie spices that we love at this time of year are there for a reason and the season. It's to help make us healthy, help fight off these germs and viruses. Many of these herbs are antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial.
Okay,
so,
but
yes.
how do you take these, though? I mean, I'm not going to be eating pumpkin pie every day.
Gosh, do you drink coffee?
I do drink coffee, yes.
There you go. You now have a beautiful fall spice coffee. If you just take in a cup of coffee, you mix up some of those pumpkin pie spices. There's lots of recipes online. And just put a teaspoon or even less if these flavors are new and strange to you, and stir it in and go ahead and drink that with your morning cup of coffee and give your immune system a little boost along the way.
So how do you do that with cloves? Cloves are pretty sharp and rugged.
Cloves are. So that's why in these pumpkin pie spice recipes, you'll notice that they're heavy on the cinnamon, light on the cloves. But all of these types of, herbal medicine is people's medicine. And you'll hear lots of herbalists say that. Herbal medicine is truly people's medicine. Most of our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, had a garden. Some of us remember that. Some of us still have gardens. And there was a reason for that. It wasn't only to nourish our families and to feed them, but we were growing herbs for herbal teas, and we were growing specific foods to help keep our families healthy and support our immune systems. And this used to be something that every housewife and many husbands and many children knew as well.
So you're saying that if we take a cup of coffee every day and we put a teaspoon of cinnamon in it and a little bit of cloves and maybe some ginger, what is that going to do for me? And is 1 teaspoon enough?
Everything is a little help and a little boost, and it'll also make your coffee tasty. I wouldn't put them in separately. I would go get a recipe. So it would be, you make up a small batch. It's like, say, a fourth a teaspoon of cloves to 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and whatever, and then you'll just mix it all up and take a teaspoon of that. But if you really want a big boost, you can make a yogi tea or a chai. Many of us have had chai tea. Have you ever had a chai tea?
Chai masala we drink here in Israel.
Right. Well, there's a really simple recipe. You can make this at home. I would say for about 4 cups of tea, and to use some of these herbs that have antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial properties. I would say for 4 cups of water, I would put in 2 cinnamon sticks, 6 peppercorns, whole peppercorns, 4 cardamom pods, and 3 whole cloves. That's it. I would put it into a saucepan, let this simmer for, about 20 minutes, and then strain out those herbs, add a little milk or milk substitute, or even drink it plain, add a bit of honey or sweetener if you'd like. And that would be a great immune building and boosting tea that's tasty. And it could even replace your coffee or be an addition to your coffee or replace one of your cups of coffee.
Interesting. Okay. Some of these spices, though, I've never, cardamom, I don't use. What was the other one that you said besides cinnamon?
Cinnamon, I'm sure you do, and pepper, oftentimes you do, and cloves as well. But you can pick all of these up at your local greengrocer, your local supermarket. They're very common herbs, and you might find that you like them and want to use them more often.
Okay, so this is going to help keep colds and flus the way you're saying.
It should. There's an even more famous recipe right now called fire cider. Tradition not trademark, hashtag tradition not trademark. If you look that up on any social media, you will see the very recent court case that was won by a team of herbalists to make fire cider, the name fire cider, in the public domain. This stuff is so good. It's been used since antiquity throughout the ages for many indigenous cultures, and it's so popular and it's so easy to make.
Okay, so we only have 2 minutes until the break. How do we do that?
Well, you're going to get from your local supermarket horseradish, garlic, onion, ginger, orange, lemon, and some hot pepper. And you're going to just get a jar, a mason jar, or any kind of wide mouth glass jar. Chop these up. There's no specific amounts. It depends on your jar size. Just fill your jar and pour some raw apple cider vinegar on top of that. This can corrode metal, so either use a plastic lid or put down some parchment paper and screw on your metal lid on top of that. Just make sure to change it once a week. In about 4 weeks, this is going to be done for you. And you can take this by the teaspoonful every day. During acute infection, you can take it by the tablespoonful. And this will blast germs and viruses and bacteria clear out of your system and hopefully shorten colds and flus.
Okay, it sounds really nasty, I have to tell you. But let's go over this list again. Horseradish, and we shred that?
You can shred it or chop it up finely. Either way, do it in a well-ventilated room because you'll find that's going to clear out your sinuses.
Right. Okay, so horseradish, what else?
Garlic, onion, ginger, orange, and lemon to give it that nice little sweet citrus, and it's good for colds and flus, the vascular system,
And
kidneys.
When you say orange and lemon, do you mean the inside of the fruit or the skin? What?
No, use the peel as well. Just chop it up. This
Okay.
is super easy. Just get these whole, chop them up with their peels on. It takes maybe 5 minutes to do. You can do it with the kids. Put it into this wide mouth jar. Pour some apple cider vinegar on top. And this stuff is amazing. And the truth is, you don't have to take it plain. You can pour it over salads as a vinaigrette.
Okay, hang on. We're just about to go to a break. And we'll be back with more tips on how to keep healthy naturally. All right, we are back here at the Tamar Yonah Show on IsraelNewsTalkRadio.com, and we are learning how to outsmart germs and viruses naturally. No more having to take a pill. You know, I want to say, everybody, my mother taught me from a very young age about taking pills and how we should try to avoid it if at all possible. Because when you take a pill, let's say you're taking a pill for, you have a headache, but that pill doesn't have a brain. It doesn't know it's supposed to go to the head and fix your headache. It goes to your toes. It goes to your fingers. It goes to your organs. It goes to all over and while it might be taking away your headache, it's affecting something else, maybe your liver or something else. So we want to try to do things as naturally as possible. And though we love science and laboratories and all the inventions we have, there's nothing like what the creator of the universe made for us. And what is that saying? Let medicine be thy food and food be thy medicine, something like that. So we have joining us now Rivkah Asoulin. She is an herbalist here in Israel, and there's going to be a conference here in Israel for herbalists in Israel, the first of its kind. It's going to be an annual conference as well. And she's here to answer our questions on keeping colds and flus away, keeping healthy the natural way. So welcome back to the show, Rivkah Asoulin.
Thank you.
All right. So we had ended on some type of real kick in your tushy. I think that's how you said it to me off the air.
I did.
Something that's really going to, kick those germs out of your bloodstream that they won't want to live in your bloodstream. They'll try to go to someone else's. And it's called fire cider. And you said that's horseradish, garlic, onion, ginger, hot peppers, some lemon and orange. Even with the peels, you chop it all up into little, I guess you dice it up. And then you pour in there raw apple cider vinegar, preferably with mother. And you leave that for how long to sit?
4 weeks is all it needs.
And refrigerated or on a shelf?
No, it can stay on a shelf sitting outside, especially in this weather, unless you're in a really super hot environment, in which case, once you strain it, you'll want to go ahead and put that in the fridge. But otherwise...
Wait, so you can keep it outside. That means that it can be in light.
Yeah, I would avoid direct contact with the sun. You can put it into a, dark, cool kind of cabinet where you might put your potatoes or something like that.
Okay, and then after 4 weeks, you said you strain it, and then what? Then you put it in the refrigerator and you have it for the winter, or what?
Yes, absolutely. Or, Susan Weed, herbalist Susan Weed, suggests never straining or very rarely straining things. So if you want to get in there and just, pour it out through a sieve or something, or a cheesecloth or whatever each time you need it, you can do that as well. But straining just makes it easily accessible.
Okay. All right. So that's that. Let me ask you now about what many of us, after we pass the age of, 30, 40, especially in our 50s and over, we have to worry about blood sugar. We have to worry about cholesterol. I've heard that in order to lower blood sugar, something that's supposed to be really, really good is cinnamon, and I think it's omega or something like that. Do you know anything about that?
All of these things are helpful. Cloves, garlic, there's a lot of herbs out there that can do this. The trick is finding the right dosage for you. But a good first step would be just to maybe slightly alter the way you're eating and add some more of these blood sugar regulating foods into your diet and see if that starts making a difference. And you could try it one at a time, maybe adding a little cinnamon to your coffee every morning and then adding cinnamon somewhere else on your baked potato or on your baked sweet potato. And just make sure you're sprinkling it on a little bit more on your breakfast, on your oatmeal, on your cereal, whatever you're eating. And see if this makes a change. If it does, you might want to try and move forward with cinnamon and upping your dose. or garlic or anything else.
What's a typical dose? Like a teaspoon a day or what?
You can always start very gently. I mean, something like a yogi tea, the recipe I mentioned at the beginning, would be great. And that's just using it normally and naturally in foods. That's my favorite way to start. And that's a good way to tell as well if you're having sensitivities or if this particular food or herb doesn't work well for you.
So how do you spell that? Yogi tea? How do you spell it?
Yeah, YOGI, yogi tea. It's also a form of chai tea.
Okay,
it can
all
be
right.
called
So
chai.
can look that
and
up
you can make it right at home.
Okay, so people can look that up on the internet and figure out how to make that. All right.
Absolutely. Also, I want to add that with the fire cider, just make sure to add some honey, some raw honey into that, and that'll sweeten it up and make a nice vinaigrette for your salad.
Okay, it sounds good. All right, cholesterol. I've heard that olive leaf tea could be good to lower cholesterol. What do you have to say about that?
Olive leaf tea is so wonderful for so many things, including respiratory illness and allergies, especially if you live in an area where olive is a native tree, and there are so many olive trees. So it's in Israel anyway. You can walk out your door and just, cut off some leaves, cut off a few twigs, and you can use them fresh. Just pour some boiling water over them and make a tea. Or you can dry them out and keep them in your cabinet indefinitely and use them as needed. I would say, putting perhaps 3 or 4 leaves in a cup of tea, pouring boiling water on top of that, putting, a saucer on top or whatever to hold that heat in for about 20 minutes, and then go ahead and add some honey and drink that. You could start with 1 cup a day and see if that makes a difference for you. A lot of these things, again, depend on the person. And obviously, if somebody has an allergy to olive leaf, that would be an inappropriate choice. So you have to take responsibility for your own health when you turn to herbal medicine.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll just tell you that when I had to get my cholesterol down, I also went out to my garden, cut off some leaves with some of the thin, skinny branches that were holding leaves on it. I boiled it up into a nice golden color, and then I put it in the fridge, and I would add a little bit, almost like a concentrate, to some more water, and I would drink it as ice water. You barely taste it. And I would have it during the day, just drinking it like I was drinking water. And and it did help me lower my cholesterol. And my triglycerides got down to normal as well. So I was really happy.
Wonderful. Yeah, it can be very effective. And I've seen people use this for allergies. And it does, herbal medicine is people's medicine, and it's also God's medicine. It's a living green pharmacy. And it's just like foods. Our bodies take what we need from our food and kind of throw out the rest. And when we're using herbs, it's the same general principle. If these herbs, many herbs are used for multiple medical conditions or needs. And if your body doesn't need it for that, it's going to get rid of whatever it doesn't need naturally.
What can you tell us about all of these diets that we read about, the keto diet, the paleo diet, a vegan diet, etc.? Good, bad? What is your opinion?
This is not a one-size-fits-all situation. This is absolutely, we're not cookie cutters. My husband and I were just commenting, we went out to dinner the other night, and we're going, wow, we're getting old. My tummy can't handle this kind of food anymore. It was fried, greasy food. I could eat that kind of thing when I was maybe in my 30s or in my 20s. It really depends on your personal constitution, on where you are in your life, on how your body's functioning. And you need to find the right diet for you.
All right. So
they can all be beneficial depending on the person.
All right. And do you think that vegan is better than having meat in your diet?
This is an age-old question. I remember the Brigitte Mars and Susan Weed debate about this. Both of these women look great. They're healthy. They're beautiful. They're in their 70s and up right now. And one of them is very into raw foods and says there's no other way. Raw foods is the way to go. The other one, very pro meat and, highly cooked foods. It's working for both of these women. And they both claim that when they switch diets, when they're on the other diet, they're feeling sick, they're feeling tired, they're feeling heavy. If you're feeling tired, if you're struggling throughout the day, that's a good indication that the diet that you're eating may not be right for you, and it may be time for a change.
You were telling me during the break that elderberries and lavender oil are super, super good things to take for what?
Oh, well, we can get to elderberry in a minute. Lavender oil is so great. I love it so much. And lavender grows wild all over Israel. So I can go and just pick the tops of the lavender. Make sure you know what you're getting. Make sure you've correctly identified the plant. But lavender has such a distinctive smell as well. Just take the tops off the lavender. You can use the leaves too and the stalks. Put them into a jar. Pour some oil, olive oil, coconut oil, whatever you want. I prefer olive. And let that sit for 6 to 8 weeks. Shake it up every now and again. And then you can strain it out and use it. And you can use it on bruises, cuts, scrapes, bug bites, burns, sunburn. And it is just such an incredible ally to have in the home and in the kitchen.
So you, for lavender, you pick not the flower, the leaves, right?
The flower and the leaves, the flowering
leaves.
Tops and the leaves. You can really use every part. Most people prefer the flowering tops as the bulk of their plant material.
Okay, and so then we take that and we pour some either olive oil or coconut oil over it. We let it sit for 6 to 8 weeks, and then we can use that. Very, very interesting. All right, we are back here at the Tamar Yonah Show on IsraelNewsTalkRadio.com, and we are learning how to outsmart germs and viruses naturally. We have an herbalist talking with us today on the show. Her name is Rivkah Asoulin, and she is here talking to us about how we can take things out of our own garden or at the grocery store, put them together, put them aside for a few weeks, have them do their stuff, and then infuse them into our body or inject them into our body through drinking tea or salad dressings or all sorts of things and keeping healthy and beating those germs. Now, when we ended on the last segment, we were talking about lavender oil and how that can help in so many things. Tell us very briefly about elderberries.
Elderberries also, you can pick them up from any health food store, dried elderberries, and make your own elderberry syrup. Most people pay top dollar for elderberry syrup, but this is something you can do in your kitchen at home, and it takes about 40 minutes to do it, 30 to 40 minutes. There's also plenty of recipes online to look that up, but it's basically elderberries, water. You're going to sweeten it at the end with honey or maple syrup if you have children that you'll be sharing it with.
And what does it do for us, elderberries?
Elderberry is, again, it's specific to cold and flu. So It is a preventative. You can take it by the teaspoonful on a daily basis. Some people, it's so sweet and yummy. It tastes like a blueberry syrup that some people like to put it on their waffles and pancakes. Children usually love to eat it. But if you're having an acute infection, you can take it by the tablespoonful up to 3 times a day.
So during the break, we briefly mentioned kids and ear infections. I mean, I have neighbors, their kids constantly having ear infections. What can we do in order to prevent that and to treat it once the kids get it?
Oh my gosh, it's so painful. It's so painful for the child, and it's so painful for the family to hear their young child in pain. Many times, some garlic oil will take care of that. Chopping up a head of garlic and pouring, I would say, half a cup of olive oil over that in a frying pan, just letting that simmer, not burn, but simmer until it's translucent, straining out the garlic material, and just using that olive oil when it comes to room temperature or slightly warm, a few drops, 2, 3, 4 drops tops in each ear, massaging that into the ear of the child, and doing that a few times a day. is usually enough to knock out the ear infection.
How
And
long
it's
do
very
you have to let it simmer, the garlic in the olive oil?
until the garlic is translucent. This can take around 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Ah, see, because I had heard once that you don't cook it, you just leave it overnight soaking in the olive oil. The
You
chopped
can
up
do that
garlic.
as well. Usually, when I have a screaming child with an ear infection, and I have seven of them,
Oh,
seven
wow.
children,
Wonderful.
I want that garlic oil as quickly as
I
possible.
see.
So, simmering it will expedite the process.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's really good information. I'm going to tell my neighbors that. All right. Youth serums. Is there anything that will keep us younger? Help our skin, wrinkling? I don't know.
The short answer is no, but the long answer is I might try nourishing herbal infusions for just having all of the building blocks, the basic trace nutrients and minerals that we need so that our cells can regenerate and develop and keep us young looking, flexible, supple, and healthy. Nourishing herbal infusions, you can actually look this up. Susan Weed, herbalist Susan Weed, has some wonderful free videos on YouTube about this. But herbs like nettle, oat straw, which grow wild, they're common weeds all over Israel. Linden, which is Tilia argentea, is the one that you can get here, and more. You can use burdock, you can use these different herbs, but basically it's an overnight infusion. So you're taking the herb, 1 ounce, which is about 30 grams, to a quart, which is about a liter of boiling water. You pour the boiling water on top of it, cap it, wait overnight, and the next day you can strain it out, pop it into your fridge, and drink that instead in place of water or coffee or whatever you want.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the conference that you're having, this first herbal conference in English here in Israel. That's going to be happening on Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, is the holiday of the trees here in Israel.
Yes.
So go ahead, tell us about it.
We are so excited about this. We're trying to create community, and we're trying to create community in English. So we're trying to bridge the gap between the new immigrants to Israel. We're still an immigrant country, an Olim Chadashim country, meaning new immigrants. And we're bringing the Hebrew speakers and people from all over the world together, and we're inviting the international community to join us. And everyone's going to come together and learn together and create a body where people can learn more about herbs. So if any of this interests your listeners today, Ancient Roots is a great option. It's a place where you will be able to get up to the minute, fresh, accurate information from the experts. We have experts coming in from North America, Seven Songs, Sarah Hannah Silverstein, who was on your show, Gila Weiss. We have Bettina Thorbel coming in from Switzerland. We've got Daniel Aurora coming in from Ireland, and we have some amazing herbalists here, Nissim Crisbel, Nir Abraham, and Peretz Gan. Top herbalists from around the world coming in and talking about things for beginner level herb enthusiasts all the way up through professional clinical herbalists. And we're trying to create this community together.
So if you are interested in natural herbs and things like this, but that's not your profession and you don't do it, you're just a novice, is this a conference that someone would want to attend, or it's only for people who are, this is their field?
This conference is for everybody. We're going to cover some very basic topics, that are not there. Even a seasoned herbalist is going to take amazing, juicy nuggets out of these topics. But a beginner can easily come in and start implementing herbs in their lives right away. We're going to cover things like birth and postpartum. We're going to cover herbs for kids. What's safe to give to your children? Do you need to change the dosage of what we've been talking about for children? Do you need to kind of tailor it down based on weight or age? We're going to have lectures. We're going to have workshops. about these issues. We're going to talk about herbal first aid with Seven Song, who's world famous for this first aid for the home and travel. So if you're hopping on a plane, you want to visit your grandkids, go traveling, visit your friends, have a vacation. What herbs can you pack that are airport safe, that won't be confiscated at the airport, that will help you deal with things like jet lag and new viruses you might pick up on the plane, and first aid situations?
And of course, it's also much cheaper to just go rummaging through your garden or a grocery store than it is to go to a pharmacy and buy all of these expensive medicines, I would think.
Well, there's a sense of accomplishment, when you've made something with your own hands, but you don't even have to make this yourself. You can purchase it from other mom and pop shops that through Etsy and online and iHerb and at your health food store, and just using them just feels so good, especially when you know that in pharmaceutical medicine there's a real trade-off. There are some side effects, some very serious side effects that you simply don't have when you use food medicine.
All right, so we have another minute left. What do you want to leave us with?
Herbal medicine is people's medicine. Come to Ancient Roots Israel February 9th through 11th and build a wonderful community and wonderful and vibrant community with us. Learn with us, start to change your way of interacting with the world and the environment around you. If issues like global warming and, the quality of our air and the quality of our water are politically important to you, spiritually important to you, this is all part of that continuum. So come and join us. We want you to be part of our community, and we want to change the face of healthcare globally.
Okay, so let me read about this again in case anybody wants to come. If you're in Israel or if you're planning to visit Israel, this herbal conference is supposed to be happening between the 9th and 11th of February, this coming February, for the Tu B'Shvat holiday. And where is this going to be exactly? And do people is it in a hotel? Do people sleep there, or they just...
Yes, it's in a beautiful hotel, beautiful views overlooking the Kinneret, the Sea of Galilee, in Poria, which is very close to Tiberias, in the Galilee of Israel. Absolutely breathtaking views. It's at the perfect season for wild weeds kind of growing by the roadside and in little patches here and there. And we're going to go out into the field, learn to identify some of these wild weeds that are growing naturally in Israel, and learn about how to use them for culinary purposes and for medicine.
Interesting. Well, I would like to learn that, because I'm sure that I've passed a lot of weeds that I just think are weeds, and they can actually be helping. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, Rivkah Asoulin. Again, if you're interested in this at all, go to ancientrootsisrael.com. Thank you so much for being with us.